Oh, yeah. We're getting our groove on. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, James Brown.
Yeah.
There he is again. I love his work.
We love our music as well as we love talking to you. I'm Cindy Dole.
I'm Eric Stromer.
And this is Home Wizards. And have you ever thought about having your own fresh eggs right outside?
Farm fresh. You know what?
You're an egg guy.
I have built multiple chicken coops.
You have?
I have.
For whom?
Well, I did it for my series on AOL, GMC Trade Secrets, and I did one at our kids' school.
Ah, that's right.
Because what they wanted to, the school has a really great agricultural program to just sort of get kids in touch with where food comes from. So they do a chicken coop. They do, tons of vegetables and edibles and all sorts of other great stuff. So yeah, easy,
Wow.
easy, conceptually, a little labor intensive to do this on your own, but they do. The good news is they do sell prefab. So let's just talk about how you can do this and how you get into the chicken raising game.
Into the game, yeah, because it's not for everybody.
No, it really isn't.
But I like the idea of having eggs just waiting for
Well, and I have to tell you, they taste totally different.
Better?
Absolutely.
Really?
It's a whole nother. It's like the difference between, grocery store tomatoes and homegrown.
I see.
With great soil.
So just more flavor.
Totally more flavor. They're better for you. Nutritionally, they have way more fantastic things in them that make you more healthy.
Wow.
Antioxidants.
And then all of a sudden you have feathers coming out of you. But...
Well, you do. But that, what are you going to do? And you do the chicken dance.
Yes.
Yeah. But the first thing to consider is it even legal in your area? You definitely have to find out your zoning. Are you zoned for agricultural? Some people don't mind. Some people do.
Every city's different.
Every city, every
Yeah.
county's different.
Yeah.
There's going to be some restriction possibly where you live. So make sure before you invest the time and energy that after you get this thing completed and you've had your first omelet, that the guy doesn't come by, from inspection and go, you can't have this here.
Oh,
Nobody
no.
lets you do this.
And then they take your chickens away.
Yes, and also do the areas that you live in allow for roosters.
Oh, that probably wouldn't
be allowed. You're going to start hearing them.
No,
sunrise.
I'd say that most probably don't like that, right?
They don't, but they allow them, and it's also one of those neighbor things like, hey, I've got a rooster, and everyone's like, oh boy, here we go. So you definitely want to make sure you consult with your neighbors
because the chickens aren't going to make the noise. It's the roosters.
It's the roosters that make the crazy. Where it's time to get up in the morning.
Yeah,
noise,
we don't.
Right?
I mean, it's great for a TV show, but we don't want that. Okay.
Exactly. Next thing you want to consider. Chicks or chickens? I mean, do you want to get the little babies? Do you want to start from there? And you want to hatch them yourself?
You shouldn't have said that.
Why?
Everybody wants little baby chicks
I know
now. All
they
those
do.
girls.
I know.
I want a pony and I want chicks.
I want chicks, and that's a little more along the lines of, starting with a small animal and weaning it to the point where they're working on their own. So that's a whole nother, that's like a science experiment.
Probably get chickens that are ready to bring you the eggs.
Well, and what you're getting,
Yeah.
it's the breed that you want, because there's so many different breeds.
Yeah.
The eggs all look completely different.
And where do you get the chickens? I mean, you don't go to Petco,
No, you don't. And they actually, there are stores all over the country
Certain
that actually
suppliers?
sell these little babies if you want them, or already established laying hens. That...
It's probably like buying from a breeder. Like you have a certain dog you want to go to a reputable breeder.
And you also want to really educate yourself because, again, some of the eggs that come out are spotted, they're purple, they're blue, they're white, they're brown, they're all different colors. So if you're not used to that look, everybody sort of who's been weaned on or who's been raised on the idea of white eggs from the market, they never are. Those are sort of dyed, and that's the way they look when they are sanitized to go into the grocery store.
So the eggshells aren't
the
always
eggshells
white.
are always different color.
So isn't that interesting? Because we have eggshell paint.
That's it.
And eggshell paint could be
that's right.
a cornucopia of color.
That's exactly right. Yeah, exactly.
Like robin's eggs. Robin's eggs have all those dots and colors. Like the candy.
Exactly. And then the third thing to consider is a chicken coop. You have to have a place for them to be relaxed and away from potential predators, safe from coyotes or any other raccoons, whoever's showing, even cats.
Even dogs, yeah.
And dogs, right? So there has to be a place where they can quietly go to kind of get away from the crazy world out there, and then in fact lay their eggs. So they're going to need to have that environment. It has
Some
to
peace.
Has to be climate controlled. It can't be too hot or too cold.
It sounds like a lot of work.
There has to be ventilation. There have to be places where they can go into a little box area and lay the eggs. Right.
Sure.
Okay. So that's something to consider. And then the other thing is, how many chickens do you want? So 2 to 4 chickens will give you plenty of eggs if it's just family and friends. But more than that,
hang on, 2 to 4 chickens. That would be how many eggs every day? You're getting eggs?
Yeah, Well, it kind of depends on the climate and the fact that the birds are not stressed. If they're stressed, they're not going to lay as many. If they're really comfortable in a great environment, you're going to probably get anywhere from 4 to 10 eggs every couple of days.
Wow,
right? So
that's great.
Yeah, isn't it great?
Maybe we should almost have some music in there for them. Maybe some James
classical.
Brown.
Ooh, yeah. It depends on what kind of how many eggs you want. James Brown will probably give you 1 egg every couple of days because they'll be dancing all the time. They won't have time. Also, feed. What kind of food are you going to give these guys? And there's all sorts of different ideas on that. Sometimes you can do food scraps. You can do traditional chicken feed. Itself. The other thing too, there's going to be a tremendous amount of waste. These chickens are going to, be going to the restroom. So the good news is that they sell chicken waste in the big box stores as fertilizer. So if you're an organic gardener, this stuff makes the plants go crazy. I've got firsthand experience with this. So it's a great way to kind of create nutrients back into soils that you're growing.
Complete cycle.
There
you
cycle,
go.
no
Wow.
question. But if you're not doing that, it's a lot of stuff to deal with all the time. So you want to make sure that you're going to, be prepared to get rid of this stuff if you're not going to use it back in the garden.
There's
again.
maintenance.
There's
It's another
involved.
chore. Every
no
week,
question.
Every week you have to do this to clean up the dog yard, and now you got to clean up the chicken coop.
That's exactly right. So obviously a ton to consider, right? And kids always promise, and mine did the same thing. I swear I'm going to do this every day. I'll be out there. And then, cut to 2 days later, they're laying in your bed watching, Gilligan Island reruns, right? They're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. So it's going to fall on you. So if you're not somebody that's willing to take this on, and your kids aren't going to do it if they're 10 or below.
I've done that before.
Right?
I remember saying that. I'll do it. I'll take care of it. All right. And
pretty soon you find yourself
happens.
going to the market and buying eggs yourself, and no one takes care of the chickens, and then it just becomes a waste of time. So having said all that, if some of those criteria are going to work for you, then this may be a good thing to do. Now, the good news is it's become really sort of in vogue to buy these chicken coops pre-made. They come in a myriad of shapes, sizes. They can be sort of designed to look exactly like your existing house.
Which is great.
Which is really cool. Or you can, get something kitschy and cute. It can go from sort of barnyard to postmodern to mid-century. There's all sorts of shapes and sizes.
And so these are kits that you would assemble.
Yes, and once they come, they're pretty easy to assemble. And the concept is that you're going to have a main chicken coop, which is a sealed-off environment protected from, predators. There's going to be a box that's hanging off to the side of this where the chickens will go to roost, right, and lay their eggs ultimately. And then there's going to be an outdoor area that's enclosed with some chicken wire that keeps predators and birds from coming in and not only eating the feed, but potentially, bringing disease to the chickens. So you definitely have to have an enclosed environment. So,
and is it enclosed over the top
yes,
too? So
exactly.
It's completely.
It's a complete outdoor area that's enclosed
top
and
to
free
bottom.
of predators.
Nice.
Yes. And if you don't do that, some of these animals can jump. I've seen coyotes jump 5-6 feet in and just wipe out the entire flock of birds. So you definitely want to have all those things in your prefab situation. They range in price from $100 all the way up to $1,000, $1,200 depending on the size. So if you want to take on building one yourself, they sell plans online as well, and that's a little more extensive.
And if you're saying it's extensive, then that really is extensive.
And it is, trust me. It's not as easy as you think. I think you go kit.
We'll put all this on the website, but I love the idea as long as we do the research. It could be a lot of fun.
It's romanticized that, honey, farm fresh eggs every day, but I wanted to make sure that you guys knew there's a lot of work involved.
Okay, but with some work is some good reward.
There's no question,
Thanks for hanging out with us. Remember, you can go to the website, as always, at yourhomewizards.com. Eric Stromer, Cindy Dole. Until next time, the key is under the mat. Bye-bye.
I'll light the fire while you place the flowers in the vase that you bought today.
I'd say that was a pretty successful broadcast.